Harmful frequencies versus healing frequencies. Did you know that your body can actually tell the difference? It's not woo woo, it's not crazy. Let's get into it. Not all frequencies are good, and not all frequencies are bad. Just like bacteria, just like food, just like everything else in our life, there are good and there are bad versions of it all. So that means that not all frequencies are healing. But your body and your mitochondria and your cells are innately smart and they know the difference. They're picking up on all of this while you're going around completely oblivious to it. So even if you're not consciously aware of all of the frequencies that you're totally swimming in, your body is. Like right now, if you could try to envision, I have frequencies coming off of my computer, frequencies coming from the artificial light pointed at my face, frequencies coming off all of these wires, and this is all considered dirty electricity. This is impacting our biology. And so we need to talk about how there are things that are harmful that are impacting our biology versus things that are good impacting our biology. So today we are breaking down the difference between biological frequencies that your body was designed to thrive with and frequencies that it was not designed to thrive with, and why lumping them all together is causing a lot of confusion, especially in the health and wellness space. And then people who are searching for answers with their health, but are getting totally confused in where they need to focus. They come into the holistic or alternative world, and all they're hearing is parasite cleansing and supplements and, the traditional herbalism type stuff, which is all great. That's all, I'm not knocking anything that's holistic, but we are missing this huge invisible piece that is actually one of the most important things and one of the first things I think most people need to grasp and be aware of. So I see people all the time saying things like, well, if everything is frequency, then how could it be harmful? Or I have a cell phone and it's not hurting me. Or, I haven't noticed any problems living near a cell tower. The thing is you can be drinking water your entire life, right, out of plastic bottles, and it's bulk water, so it's not actually hydrating your cells. And you could go your whole life saying, well, I feel fine. I've been drinking that water my whole life. But then at some point, you start having symptoms of the microplastics building up in your body, chronic dehydration because all that water you were chugging, even if it was a gallon a day, wasn't really truly getting into your cells. And I mean, another example would be like how dirty water can make you sick. Dirty electricity can make you sick. Clean water is good, but then water with a certain structure, like I mentioned, like that's tiny enough to get into your cells, is what's actually going to hydrate you better. Same kind of idea with frequencies is we can have good, clean, healing frequencies that are going to be benefiting your body and helping you resonate in a state of health versus frequencies that are literally, you know, causing disharmony and chaos in your cells and causing free radical damage. So, frequency can, I want you to think about it in a way that you would think about other things in your life. If you're choosing to shop in a specific way, considering grocery shopping, if you're choosing to eat more vegetables, more fruits, more, meat, less processed things, if you're choosing to purchase organic food or support your local farmer, but you're not focusing on changing the frequencies in your life, you're missing a huge piece. So anyone who is wanting to change their health has to look at frequencies. So from a biological standpoint, frequencies are falling into these two broad categories. And you'll hear me reference this a lot, like in my other videos and in my courses and on my Instagram. I talk about this a lot. We have native frequencies. So these are rhythms that the human body produces or was designed to live alongside. So God created frequency when he created the world. There are brain waves So your brain is giving off frequency. You have delta, theta, alpha, beta, gamma. We have heart rhythms. Our electromagnetic field of our heart is measurable. There are circadian light and dark cycles. When we get into quantum biology, we start learning about how important the sun is for our health, how important the earth is for our health, and the frequencies connected to those two things are imperative to our circadian well-being. There are acoustic sound waves, like from our voice. We know that music can bring a lot of good to someone. We see, now in the hospitals, there's videos that circulate about how they bring sound therapy into the hospitals. It's incredible. Music, nature. You've probably heard about like 528 hertz frequency or 432 and how you should tune your music to 444 or to 432. It's because different frequencies impact our biology in different ways. So these are mechanical or bioelectrical signals that your nervous system was already programmed by design to interpret. You don't have to know the language of frequencies because your cells, that is their language. Your body was literally designed to interpret the frequencies going on around you. That's why you can feel the energy shift in a room if someone is really angry or if someone comes in who is really anxious. You can feel the frequencies that they are producing. Each one of us is a frequency generator. God made us to actually be able to generate frequencies. This gets into emotions and neuroscience and so many different things. And it's well-established physiology. So we've got our native frequencies. That's one category. And the second category is non-native frequencies. These are the frequencies that were introduced recently, very recently, by man. So these are wireless signals. Think of Bluetooth. Think of, connecting. What happens to your phone when you get in your car? It automatically connects. You are in a cloud of these man-made, I wanted to say fake, but they're man-made, they're real, they're frequencies, and they're all around you. There are constant artificial electromagnetic fields. So much so that the actual electromagnetic field of our Earth has diminished extremely over the years. We are so disconnected, not just from wearing rubber-soled shoes and living in high-rises and living in, totally away from the Earth. We're also bombarded by all these other frequencies and there's satellites. There's so much. We have pulsed digital signals. So, just to put it into perspective, the things that you are around all of the time. You've got Wi-Fi, you've got microwaves going. If you live in an apartment complex, there are multiple microwaves around you, multiple Wi-Fis, multiple people trying to connect to Bluetooth all over. And all these signals are being picked up and influencing and passing through your body. We've got Bluetooth, cell signals, HARP. That's another huge topic we can dive into later. Microwaves actually targeting weather manipulation all over the world. I'm not just talking about the microwave in your house. I'm talking about there are microwave technologies working with weather manipulation, which we'll also talk about later too. There's just so much. And whether you even believe in that or not, you can still see that there is Bluetooth and cell phones. And if you just want to read the warnings from an iPhone, you should kind of start to get the idea that this stuff is not good for us. There's no long-term testing on how detrimental it is. I remember years ago, we were seeing pictures of people's, cancer in their head being the exact same shape as the Bluetooth phone thing that they were using. I don't know what those things are called. Now we have AirPods, which are worse. They're basically microwaving your brain. Anyways, I could talk about this for hours, so I'm going to try to cut it shorter. The point is, there's good and there's bad. And we know this. The world knows this. But we need to take it seriously. So these frequencies are not processed the same way as the native frequencies in our body because our bodies were not designed with regulatory pathways for them. So this distinction is actually really acknowledged by the mainstream, literature that's out there, the NIH, the WHO, these classifications of non-ionizing radiation, because we have non-ionizing radiation and ionizing radiation. That's the point. The whole point is there's good and there's bad. And it's documented and it's out there. Just like we don't, modern day doctors do not x-ray pregnant women's stomachs anymore because of the harmful effects that were obviously linked to it. Now they do ultrasounds, and there's a lot of speculations. I personally chose not to have any ultrasounds in my pregnancy to protect my baby because of the 50 studies out of China done on real babies that I read and said, oh no, I am not exposing my unborn child to this frequency. Okay, so let's get into now the answer. We need more good healing. This does not heal, cure, treat, prevent, or diagnose anything. Nothing I say does that. You should know this. This is not medical advice. Do your own research, talk to your doctor, all that stuff. But why frequencies that are native and that are biologically coherent with the body, why do they feel good? Certain sound or light frequencies can actually promote relaxation because they encourage parasympathetic nervous system activity. What is the big buzzword in the holistic world is all nervous system, calm your nervous system. Okay, but how? You cannot just think your way into a calm nervous system. Frequency, if you think of, there's a video on YouTube called Synchronizing Metronomes. I have it on my Instagram page too. I've recorded it to show there. And you can see how all these metronomes start out going at different speeds, different frequencies. They're not synced up, but because they're all near each other, their frequency ends up syncing up, and that you can slowly watch them getting into sync with each other. This is a perfect visual of what happens when you start sending good targeted frequencies to your liver, to your brain, to your nervous system. You will come into harmony with them, and your body will work to entrain to them. It's a very interesting topic we'll have to dive into deeper on another YouTube video, but this whole concept of entrainment, that's what helped me understand crystals when I was first diving into all of this, because I felt skeptical about crystals. How could crystals do anything, and aren't they evil, and they're just for the new age, and they're just for witchcraft and all this stuff? And I really started diving into it, and there was a book I read, I think it was just the beginning pages of Crystals for Beginners. It's a book you can get, I don't know the author off the top of my head, but I see it over on my desk. In the beginning, she talks about entrainment, how frequencies in crystals, God designed crystals to have energy. Some of them are piezoelectric. They are incredibly made. They hold a frequency, just like the rocks at the beach have frequencies, just like the waves at the ocean have frequencies, just like you have a frequency. God made you so unique that your frequency is different than anyone else in the whole entire creation of eternity. Crystals have a frequency, and the reason why people can see benefits and changes and relaxation and all these different benefits from having crystals is because they resonate at a frequency that your body will try to entrain with. So no matter what it is, whether it's good or bad, your body's going to entrain with it. This is why the saying goes, if you hang around 4 other millionaires, you will be the 5th one. It's because you will entrain to the frequency that they are vibrating at. It is not woo-woo. It is not crazy. It is science. It is how God made us, and science is finally explaining how God made us, and it's so cool. And that's why I am working on this YouTube to explain it to you, because it's just, I can't package this into tiny little reels anymore. That's why I'm doing YouTube, is because I've got to explain this, because it's so cool, and it's so imperative that you understand this if you want to have success and health in the coming years. So frequencies, I hear my baby going, "Mommy, are you?" Or where are you? I got to wrap this up. They support coherence in neural firing patterns. Okay, so this is why we see music therapy. When I was in high school, I thought that I wanted to be a music therapist. Man, flash forward to now, and I get to help people with sound therapy. It's almost the same thing, but better. It's just crazy. So music therapy, light therapy, these are used clinically. These are used clinically, guys. They impact our cells, and we see this in quantum biology. That's why quantum biology is blowing up. They influence state and regulation, which can support healing because your body wants to heal itself. And so anything you can do to minimize the stressors like harmful negative electromagnetic fields, toxins, heavy metals, all these other things, minimize that, mitigate that, and boost up your body with good frequencies. Your body's going to be able to do what it was designed to do best. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. When you look back in the Bible, okay, never mind. We're just going to keep going. There's more things to talk about, so make sure you're subscribed. So this is why some frequencies drain you. Non-native electromagnetic signals can actually cause cellular damage and create stress, while other frequencies, like let's use for example terahertz frequencies, are the same frequency that healthy cells vibrate at. So of course I want to use frequencies that are documented and researched for my cells that are healthy and promote regeneration versus allowing myself to be exposed continuously to frequencies that are hurting me. It should be common sense. This stuff should be talked about. There should be worldwide bans on how intense they are making the non-native electromagnetic fields. There should be warning labels that are huge. There should be education on this. This should be taught everywhere. This is smoking how it was before when doctors were recommending smoking. Soon we're going to see, I truly believe it, we are going to see the world start waking up to seeing how imperative it is that we change our environment. Otherwise, it's literally going to not only ruin all of our health, it's going to ruin the earth too, and it already is. Okay, so research shows that non-native electromagnetic fields can increase oxidative stress markers. If you don't know what that is, we'll do another video on that soon. Basically, it makes you age faster. It breaks down your body. They interfere with calcium signaling. They increase metabolic demand on cells. Why is everyone struggling? Not everyone, but a ton of people are struggling with losing weight. Why is Ozempic blowing up? Maybe it's because diet and exercise just aren't cutting it anymore. They're not. They won't. And they will continue to work less and less and less the more metabolically stressed every single person is getting from the electromagnetic fields, the lack of circadian signaling, and all of this other stuff that we will just keep peeling back the layers of on this channel. So the important thing to remember is with frequencies, whether good or bad, these effects are cumulative, especially in your mitochondria. And when we think about health, your mitochondria are the building blocks of your health. The mitochondria are so important. That's why I made a whole course on mitochondria. I mean, it's just, okay, again, I got to reel myself back in. So the simple rule for you, if a frequency matches biological rhythms, that means that it's easier to integrate and it's going to support and regulate the body. So we're thinking things like bird song. We're thinking things like, biofeedback that's optimizing your body, sound healing, gongs, singing bowls, Gregorian chants, voice. Just there's so many things that are restorative to the human body. But if it forces constant adaptation, which the body is resilient, the human body is resilient. And a lot of people believe we are going to be learning to adapt to this, which I do believe we are. But there's no way we can adapt to something that is growing so exponentially and is so intense. That's, when we look at how one of the biggest goals of the elite is population control, they have done a really great job at this. Infertility is on the rise, and electromagnetic fields can be directly correlated to part of that. So when we look at these frequencies, these harmful man-made frequencies are a higher energy cost, and it's just going to continually work on wearing down the body. Like I say all the time, it seems like there is a great design behind all of this, trying to wear down the human population to get us so we're just numb and dumb and going with whatever they say. And when you look around, they've done a pretty good job. So let's fight back by healing our own bodies, by taking charge of our own environment. For me, this has radically transformed my life in so many ways to feel this empowerment that I know no matter what is going on in the world, God keeps leading us to answers. and I'm sharing those answers with you. Okay, so in the next video that I'm going to link for you on the screen, if you are on YouTube, I'm going to dive deeper into how non-native electromagnetic frequencies are affecting your cells and the mitochondria specifically. This way you can have a really good grasp on what to actually realistically do about it. This is going to be your action step video. So make sure you click that next, and I will see you there.